going on, y'all? It's your boy Three Stacks, and good morning to everybody, or afternoon, wherever you're at. And so we've got the perfected list. So, ironic, perfect Herald of perfection. Now, this is the best list by far. After everything, after the years, the tears, after the pain, the gain, the blame. I'm just saying. But yeah, we finally got it, man. Um, after learning from my mistakes that I made pretty much 12 hours ago at the event, I changed my list for the better. I made it as consistent as possible, and I basically just the deck is pretty much the same. It's the same number of cards before, but it shrinks. So it's still 40 cards, but it's shrink. Like I was trying to find the way to just completely thin it out as possible, as much as possible, just so I can get further in. And the deck is just extremely consistent. To contradict the argument of most people say, like a lot of people say, "Oh man, I break with that deck so bad, it's trash." And I'm like, I don't understand that. I don't know if I have just like good luck or something. I don't know, but the deck does not break. Moving forward, we got three of that man right here. This guy, if you do not answer to him, it's gonna be very, very problematic for you. I just like the idea that this guy, he's potentially just like a floodgate. And he is honestly the definition of anti-meta, in my opinion. In retrospect, anti-meta is kind of like, pretty much buried statue, the fossil dyna, moon mirror shield, beat down, just pretty much a straight on strap it up helmet deck. And this deck is kind of does what that does, but a lot better. So this is like anti-meta, but it's a ritual deck. It's consistent. It nets free pluses. When I mean free pluses, it's not just like play Pot of Desires +1 in a basic standard, ABC deck. I'm talking about like plus, 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 plus. You got so much cards in your hand, you don't know what to do no more. And you don't have any more monster zones that are unoccupied to summon anymore. So you kind of just got to like set all your spells and pass turn, you feel? So yeah, really, really powerful. Broken, just man. Anyways, yeah. Sorry for rambling, but this guy's insane. Like I was saying, pretty much if you don't deal with them, it's gonna be over, and it's really really difficult to grind it out with him. So if you don't answer to him, like if you don't have the Solemn Strike or the Kaiju, it basically comes down to this. You have to keep discarding cards from my hand until I don't have any more. And the problem with that is because this deck always has more cards than my. Basically, I always have more cards than my opponent does. And especially because every first turn, I put my opponent at a -1, making Evil Storm or Boros. Like, he never has more than me. So it's like, that never can happen. So the only way I really lose with my Herald is to the Kaiju, which is the main reason why I decided, you know what, I'm going to try out the barrier statue thing. Because the idea of the barrier statue pretty much is that there's only one Kaiju that can hurt you now. So it just increases your ceiling potentially so that your victory is it's nearly secured. So I'll just say like that. Like yeah, like I said, it increases your ceiling, especially going first when you're able to just pull off the Herald barrier statue. If they don't answer to it, like I said, it's just GG no re, and no re because you complain too much. 2 pom pom girl because she's broken. This is my baby. I'm running her at 2 now because there was times where it just came up where I had like Donna the Herald and 2 of her. And because I draw her as often as I draw Herald of Perfection, you'll have those hands where you'll like draw him and you'll draw Dawn, but then I was having those hands where I'll draw like 2 of her and a Dawn. So I decided to cut her and basically increase my methods and my odds of getting into her. So instead of running extra copies of her, I basically added extra ways to get into her. So increasing my chances of deck thinning and also netting free cards in basically on my way to her. Like I'm still coming to get you, girl. I just gotta grab some stuff. So yeah, only 5 blue cards. I just really wanted to minimize on it. Reason being is because I don't want break hands. I want this deck to be as consistent as possible. I worked so hard to get this deck perfect, absolutely perfect to the bone gristle. Each individual card, I think of the value that I get out of it, and that's one of the reasons why I actually made the changes that I did to my main deck, because there's a couple cards I was running that were good and they were kind of versatile, but at the same time I wasn't getting the maximum value that I could out of them simply because they weren't versatile enough. There was like it wasn't like it was a bunch of stuff I could do with them, so I wouldn't say they were versatile. I'll just say like because it's a spell, it's versatile, meaning that when you play it, it goes to the grave, so it's fodder for Ritual Sanctuary. But I wanted other spells like that were really versatile, meaning that there's more than one scenario where this will come up, come through with the clutch. For example, like what I did with my Metal Force Fusion, I've been running it forever, so the only time it really would come up in that scenario is when you have Ritual Sanctuary. So the ceiling of this card is not very high. So you have higher chances actually of bricking with it than you do of actually, it coming through, because when you draw this card, you basically would have to draw it with one of those 5 cards. But now that I'm abusing the foolish mechanic, basically just running this engine, it increases my ceiling with the what's it called? The Metal Force Fusion, which basically turns this one spell into an engine all by itself, and also gives me alternative methods for using this spell. So that back to what I was saying to clarify my point, that it makes it more versatile, so I can do more than just one thing with my Metal Force Fusion. So yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. That's why I changed a lot of cards in my main deck and added in cards like that, or cards that I can abuse them in more than one way, where I can basically, where there's random scenarios in a grind game where I can actually just abuse the crap out of my stuff. So yeah, moving forward, we're going on to my favorite combo. So 3 of that staff, and abuse the crap out of my stuff means like I want a handful of cards that are like good no matter what time I draw them. If you guys get what I'm saying, like Kaiju's, for example, that's a great example. A Kaiju is not going to be good all the time when you draw it. So it's not ideal in the main deck, not all the time. Stuff like that, basically. So I wanted cards, I just wanted the best cards as possible. I wanted to minimize on breaking. So basically the only potential brick, I have 2 potential bricks in a 40 card deck that's actually running consistent 3-ofs that are all searchable. So you can imagine if I have a 2%, two cards in my deck, it's less than a 2% chance of breaking, which is actually, it's, the statistics are there, fam. I'll just say that. I'm not trying to argue with nobody. Yeah, but moving forward. So we've got the staff and the throne, because this is Team King of Games, and my handy man. You know what? That is such a tongue twister. My handy helper, handy manny. How do you guys say that? Can somebody try to say that? My handy helper, handy manny. There we go. All right. Well, anyways, handy manny. You guys seen the show when you were little? That's him. He's really clutch. He come through with me. He's basically an extra combo piece. He's a fairy. He's a level 4 light. So he's actually very, very versatile. Like I was saying, the thing with him is he's not just to search ritual monster or ritual spell. He acts as rank 4 fodder. He is fairy fodder for your ritual play, even for your Herald of Perfection. He's light attribute, so honest is deadly with them. And also he's versatile because if you have Ritual Sanctuary in your hand, and say for example you have like you're one spell short of summoning Herald, so like you have 5 spells engraved and Herald's engraved, and you're like, all right, I need one more spell. You have this guy in hand, normal summon him, search Dawn, discard Dawn, search another combo piece, shuffle him back, there's your Herald, bam. And he actually came through for me in a scenario like that where I just used him basically to act as a spell. So he's a monster, but he could potentially just become a spell when you need him to. So that's another thing. Like I was saying, I just want my cards to be versatile and basically to be more beneficial in more than one method. So yeah, moving forward, too honest, really broken. Just keep your barrier statue alive. If you have to, like when I play Blue Eyes, I always summon my Herald in attack mode, even if I'm going first. Reason being is if I summon them in D, they always kill them. All they have to do is reveal alternative. I can't do anything about that. And obviously my barrier statue can't do anything about that. So I always summon them in attack mode. Don't search stick chair. I just search the honest and just pretty much go helmet mode from there. Beat down. And then the statue. This guy, he's effectively like a floodgate to me. He really is like a sack. He really is. But this guy, yeah, like I said, he's like a floodgate to me. So when you're able to open with your Herald and a card like this, it increases your ceiling in an immense, when I say an immense scale. Like the ratios, the statistics, it's all there, fam. It nearly increases your ceiling by a whole nother 20%, just having this guy here being relevant in your field presence, because half of your opponent's attention has to go to him and half of your opponent's attention has to go to Herald, when all of his attention is supposed to be on Herald. So the problem is you've got too many problems and you don't have enough answers. So yeah, that sums up the monsters. Pretty consistent. I'm never mad when I draw a monster. Even the blue cards, because I run 5, it's so cool because every time I draw them, it's the perfect time. When you run a chunky lineup on the blue cards, like if you're running like 7 or 8 ritual monsters, you have the chance of drawing too many early on in the game. When you run a smaller count, you have the chance of drawing, way less and later on in the game. So it's much better. And that way, basically, you want to keep them in your deck to search them out. That way, you would just want to draw your hand full of spells, net your advantage, recycle, bam, bam, pull off your combos. So yeah, you run 16 monsters, but effectively, we actually run 30 monsters. So yeah, we have all different. Like I was saying, this deck has so many different ways to get to the same thing that even if your opponent stops, if your opponent shuts down one method, you have so many different routes. It's crazy. Moving forward with the spells. So we've got basically 3 more copies of a floodgate. I look at this as a floodgate card. It's a +1. It basically is a standard +1, but it's a floodgate. That's why I actually presented this spell first before any other of my spells, even the pots and stuff like that. Because like I was saying, this is not only a +1, but it's a floodgate. If you don't know how to make this card a +1, I'll show you guys a combo tutorial in the video on the order and how to play things and stuff. We'll do blase. We'll do that. We'll do like a test hand combo tutorial with my deck, and I'll explain that to you guys. Because yeah, the order and timing that you play cards can grant you different results versus playing them right away. So if you play this card correctly, it's a +1 every single time. So every time I resolve this, I +1. So it's basically like having a pre-prep or a desires. And not only do I get a +1, but I get a floodgate, so I just lock up right away. So that's why I present this first, because it's actually the best spell. And it's even more versatile because it's not just a floodgate, it's not just a +1, but it potentially can become an additional copy of your Star Seraph Sovereignty, because this can bring out your Scepter Search Sovereignty, and it's an additional copy of your 3 additional copies of Honest, because you can net him from your deck and then just use his effect, bounce the hand. So yeah, very, very versatile spell. And that again clarifies my point for like the 3rd time. Like I was saying, I like spells that are useful in more than one scenario, and this is like so versatile. You don't have to just go for the Tithe play. You can do it for the search. You can do it for the plus, for the floodgate. Yeah, moving forward. So my prep brigade. This is pretty much standard for any ritual fairy deck. It's the juice and the berries. So it's kind of like, this is the goo, and then like this is the juice and the berries, and then you got like the sauce, which you have to run 3 of. I like all my combo pieces as 3 ofs, and the deck is so consistent. You want to just pretty much see one of all your 3 ofs first turn, and then bam, and then desires doesn't even hurt you after that. So it's really clutch, and the deck has so many different engines incorporated incorporated in it that I like it. So it's not just like a standard Herald deck. I really like the deck. It's super fun to play. And yeah, I'm maximizing on this time. I was running it at 2. And now the reason being is because I did a lot of test hands, and basically the percentages for me drawing Pot of Desires going first when it was at 2, of course, like I thought if I cut it at 2 that I would and added more draw power, because I added in 3 extra upstarts. So I thought, man, I'm gonna be able to draw into that desires more, so if I run it at 2, I'll still see it more often. But I actually didn't see it enough for me, and I'm hungry for a desires, so I decided to bump the count back up to 3. Yeah, very consistent. +1 nets you free cards. At minimum, it's a spell for you to discard for Ritual Sanctuary, which actually acts as a searcher and a fodder. So this can be search fodder and also recycle fodder. So it can be basically a double-edged sword. And yeah, this also can net you free pluses. Play your Dawn, it gets negated. Play this, add it back to hand, and then play your Dawn again. And yeah, just really, really broken. And then we've got 3 copies of the Foolish. It's really clutch. So like I said, you got your goo, you've got your juice and berries, you got your sauce, and then you got the foolishness right here. You got the shenanigans. And this is just 3, it's 3 upstarts. But now, with the new tech card that I incorporated in, which actually comes with the clutch, this is just a completely I've turned this into just something else now. This spell is a completely different beast. This is so versatile. Every time I see this in my hand, I just think of all the possibilities. So the reason why I incorporated Machine Angel Ritual, there's so many different scenarios where it comes up. So one, when you when you do the Ties of the Brethren and you bring out your barrier statue and you summon your Herald of Perfection, if you can pitch this to your graveyard with your Foolish Burial Goods, or if you can use Ritual Sanctuary to discard this, and you're able to search this with Ritual Sanctuary, you know, to still discard it, whatever. Basically, it's searchable, so you have so many different ways to get it from your deck to your grave, basically. So if you can get your Barrier Statue and your Herald first turn to get this engraved, it increases your ceiling. So having Barrier Statue increases your ceiling by 20%. This increases your ceiling effectively by like, the result is going to be 95% victory, because how do you out this board is by one kaiju, of course, and you know Herald stays alive. But naturally, the only way you can truly break it is damage step when you activate the Honest Solemn Strike, right? And when Solemn Strike would negate the Honest and this guy would die, you banish the Machine Angel Ritual, keep the Barrier Statue alive. They wasted 1,500 life points. Their monster dies. They lose the life points resulting from the damage calculation of that battle, and you're still helmeted up. Their turn is wasted, and next turn, guess what? You've got game. So like I was saying, it nearly just guarantees you your victory. So that's why I just had to incorporate it as that clutch one up. And not only that, it's a sack because the Lost Worlds, when I was playing the Dinos, it actually came up where that stupid token, like I was like, man, if I could just get this off the field, I could have got game. But the stupid little Dino token, he's getting too much advantage off of it, and I couldn't get off my field. So this is another scenario where this is clutch, where you can actually just search this, and you can actually play this, tribute off your the token and any of your other monsters, and hard summon your Pom Pom Girl, hard summon your Benton. And the cool thing is, you know, if she kills a monster by battle, she gets the burn damage. Now here's another clutch scenario where you can play Machine Angel Ritual, tribute Pom Pom Girl to summon Pom Pom Girl, search for Honest, kill a monster, do 18, and then when the monster gets destroyed, inflict the defense. So that can potentially just be basically just finishing your job, you know, cleaning up, getting the rest of the damage done. So like I was saying, this is another form of my example. Versatile spells that come up with the clutch in just numerous scenarios. At bare minimum, it's a spell. It's searchable. It's an additional target for my handy manny. Sometimes my Pot of Desires hurts me a bit too much, so I might not have targets for my Ritual Sanctuary. Putting this in the main deck effectively gets me just an additional target, because sometimes I have Manifold Fusion in my hand, right? And I just want to discard it just so I can get it engraved to draw. And even though discarding is a cost for Ritual Sanctuary, if you don't have targets to search, you can't even perform the cost. So having an extra target, it just, like I was saying, increases ceiling. It's just really clutch. It's too broken. And when they try to out your Herald of Perfection with Utopia the Lightning, you can still use this. Utopia the Lightning won't kill Herald. And it also saves any light monsters. So your, like I was saying, you know, saves your Barrier Statue, saves your Deltaros, your Diamond playing against Lamon. Just such a versatile spell. Anyways, yeah, I put too much strenuous attention on him. Moving forward to 3 copies of the Las Vegas. Really clutch. Let's get this a bit more organized because I'm not really liking what I'm seeing here. So we'll move these like this, and then we'll go ahead and put the sauce like that. We'll put these like that, and then anyways, moving forward. So we've got 3 copies of Las Vegas because it's the best spell. You get more value out of this than any spell, just because as long as it can stay on the field, you get free pluses, free recycles, keep using your 1-up spells, and just keep sacking your opponent, keep bringing back the Barrier Statue, keep, you know, nutting up, put that helmet on, lock them down. And it's very versatile as well. It can be a searcher, you know, it can be your Monster Reborn. It's just crazy, man. It's really good. I like it a lot. It keeps you in the game. It's your grind game synergy. It's extra copies of everything. And then with that, we also have 2 copies of Optimus Prime, obviously. These 5 effectively are just 5 extra, you know, Don, Herald, Benton, and these. It's funny because you'll draw hands with Terraforming, and then it'll end up being a Star Chef Scepter, and you'll think to yourself, how did you turn a Terraforming into a Scepter? It's because the card you searched for something that ended up searching for the Scepter. So Terraforming, in theory, actually is an extra copy of Star Chef Scepter. So yeah, and I do like running cards like this in my deck where effectively they're just an extra card. It's basically just like Dead Featherweight. So it's just like cards that get you to other cards immediately, like as soon as you draw them, you know, so you keep going. So this, you don't need nothing. Like as soon as you get it, just boom, play it. You know, get that instant plus, just draw. And the same thing with terraforming. So it's like these 5 cards aren't even there. So it's like you can cut my deck. Basically, it's like the upstart theory. So think of when you play upstart, you have a 39 card deck. So it's like 35, and then you know count the pots. It's like 38, but pot lets you draw 2, so you know that's even more. And then you know your pre-preps. It's just crazy, man. It's really insane, super crazy. And yeah, so I run a lot of cards like that. It's exactly like I was saying, because I like just continue to just keep going on extending my combos. So all these spells are just pretty much combo extenders, and they're all just standalone combos by themselves. And this is really clutch, especially when you get debarriered. This effectively is still a powerful play, and it basically gives your normal summons more value and more meaning. So that way, when you commit to that play, at least it's like you're not it gives more value to that complete turn also. So it's like at least you're not playing the risk of I'm guaranteed to get an OTK, you know what I'm saying? So this is just as powerful a play as Dawn of the Herald, because there actually were games where I just sat on Barrier Statue and just kept poking. And it was funny because it was actually against Paleozoics. So yeah, moving on, we've got 3 copies of Dawn, and this is pretty versatile too. This is how I protect myself from card effects like Solemn Strike, things like that in that nature. And another thing that's actually clutch, where it actually came up, where this became even more versatile than I thought, where I was getting ready to resolve a pot, and I had already banished one of my Dawn of the Heralds to summon, and I said, I have 2 copies in my deck, and if I banish both of them before I can search one, I'm going to be pissed. I already had a way to search it, and I don't know why, but I was like, all right, so I'm going to just play this, send one of my Dawn of the Heralds to the grave, and then play my pot. So that way, if my Pot of Desires banished one of my copies, at least I got to use the Foolish Burial Goods to save one of my copies. So this spell can be your lifesaver. This can literally keep you in the game. And at minimum, it's a spell that lets you dump 2 spells in your grave. So it increases your ceiling even more when you have like 4 spells in grave and you have your Herald in grave. You just play this, dump 2, special summon Herald. Bam, like Monster Reborn. So this is just, it's so good, man. You guys underestimate the power of this card. But I'm going to teach y'all. It's good. It's real good. And again, all the stuff that I come up with, like my theories and my crazy weird logics, I don't get them from anybody. I promise. It's weird. Some people like say it's like it doesn't make sense. You know, it's inconsistent. But trust me, you guys, it works. And then moving forward, 2 copies of that instant ramen, because this is so clutch. This is, I look at this just like an upstart. As soon as I draw it, most of the time it just lets me see another card. So yeah, again, this is just like another combo extender, or it's your 1 card lightning, or you know, your 1 card emerald. So yeah, it's very versatile as well, because it can even be a Raijin, so it can turn into a control. This potentially can turn into a pain in your opponent's, basically like a thorn in your opponent's side. And then in tandem with that, we've got the Metalfoes Fusion, which this 1 card is an engine all by itself. And again, my theory behind the Metalfoes and the Foolish is 3 Foolish and 1 Metalfoes is like 3 Brilliant Fusion and 1 Garnet. So that's my theory on it. So you got like basically before you have a chance to draw this, you have 3 extra chances to get it out of your deck before you hard draw it. And even if you hard draw it, you have 5 different cards that can just, yeah. So like I was saying, very versatile, great card, very powerful. And it's one of my favorite spells. And I hate this getting banished off of Desires. So back with the Dawn and Herald thing, a lot of time I'll play this, leave it in the grave, play Dawn, and not use this effect yet. You know, do my combos, banish, and then you know, Pot of Desires, then put it back. So yeah, that's another reason why this engine is actually really broken. Most people think you're playing 3 Desires and only 1 of this. What if you banish this? Then your Foolish is kind of dead. Foolish, it wouldn't even be dead then, because it's versatile in what it does, but it can save this. So yeah. Whew, man, sorry that I'm rambling, you guys, but I'm just really excited about this deck, and I want to let you guys understand basically every reason and theory that I have behind why I run the cards and what they do. So that way you guys are left with no questions. And yeah, I want you guys to get this because it's good information. I believe firmly in giving good information. We're not just here to, you know, just basically just to parlay. The Machine Angel Ritual and the Sack Soul Charge. Oh, this is just so clutch. Like, just... Man, when you resolve this, you only need to soul charge just for 1. This potentially can turn into so many different things. This is another one of those versatile spells. This is just crazy. It can become so many different things. Like I said, this can become a full board. You know, it can become a +3. It can become a special summon 3 scepters, overlay Deltaros, pop 4 cards, draw 3 cards, net a +4. So yeah, very very crazy. But I like the lesser spells, like the 2-ofs and the 1-ofs, because they're more like sats. Like when you resolve them, it's crazy. It's a good feeling, euphoric feeling. Moving forward with the extra deck, so we've got, of course, the Norden. We've got my Utopia. I'm going full-fledged with it. Now, reason being is because the little dinosaur thing, the True Kings, naturally, they always banish my Utopia, which leaves me with the Dead Lightning, because I don't have no 3 level 5s to make them the hard way. So I added in the Prime. And it's cool because it's also a Star Seraph target, so it's like you can either go Utopia, Prime, Lightning, or for example, when they do that little True King and banish your Utopia, now you have an alternative method. You can go Star Seraph Scepter combo, special, then go Prime, pop a card, draw a card, still go into Lightning, even though the True King Dino banished the Utopia. So that is the reason for putting it in, if you guys are wondering why I'm running that. And also, of course, you know, you can always use his effect to just banish everything and attack for game. So he always will come through with the clutch for that late game synergy. So he's always going to be good for me. You know, if I'm just like YOLO, I feel like I'm in time, it's turn 3, let's just do this, boom. And moving forward with the Star Seraph stuff. So we've got the no lawn mowing, you know, no snow. Because Fairy Tale Snow, even against Herald of Perfection, she takes too many cards from my hand because she can chain for herself. So 1 snow, which isn't even a card from my opponent's hand, can cost me 4 cards from my hand, whereas it costs my opponent nothing from his hand. And then the Star Seraph plays. And, you know, you got Utopia Prime to add more synergy for the combo. And then the Emeralds. My Pom-Pom Girl. I like her. She's even more clutch in this build, not just because she's like an upstart chick, which I do like, but because she's an effective method to turn off your own barrier statue if you want to go into different stuff in your extra deck. Like, for example, her. She kills Zodiacs, by the way. Like, she gets so much value. She basically is like more upstarts too. Like, when I play her, you know, Zodiac matchup, just free upstarts. All their monsters, they play Barrage, they make a Trident, they give me a free upstart. Thank you, sir. But yeah, anyways, because she's a light and, you know, she's just 2 level 4s, it's just basically like she's a method for you to turn off your statue. Because when you Ties of the Brethren, bring out your monsters, if they live, you can just overlay them, make her, and then that way you can like special summon non-light monsters if you wanted to special summon non-light monsters. If you don't want to, of course, leave the statue there and keep the helmet. But yeah. So that's another thing that makes her more broken, not just because she can draw, but this is basically my only way. She's actually my only method to turn off the statue by myself. So aside from that, basically my opponent's going to have to, you know, just kill it. Oh, I'm sorry. That, and also you can overlay this with the stick chair combo to go into Deltaros. So Deltaros, but yeah, she's way easier to turn it off, like I was saying. So it's kind of like Metaphors turning off Vanities. You get the theory. Ragnar Zero, Castel, Gaga Samurai for the damage. It actually is cool because there's an OTK with this deck where all you need is an instant fusion and a what's it called? Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. It's so clutch, and it's retarded, but yeah. No, I'm sorry, it's not an instant fusion and a Kaiju Slumber. It's you need a stick. I'm sorry, okay. I'm explaining the combo thoroughly. So you need a stick, a terraforming, no, not terraforming, I'm sorry. You need a stick, an instant fusion, and an interrupted Kaiju Slumber, and that's it. There we go. I'm sorry. Yeah, I had just came up with the combo, so I was trying to remember the cards correctly. But yeah, it's a 3-card combo, and it's an instant OTK as soon as you draw it. So all you need is just, like I said, the Slumber, instant fusion, and then the stick. But basically, really, all I'm saying is for the OTK, all you need is a Slumber and a way to go into the rank 4. And it's really cool. So yeah. And you also have other ways to OTK because you can go to, you know, the Utopia Beyond. You can go to, you know, the Utopia Beyond, make all their attacks 0, and then, you know, you could like use him, bam, bam. And then like when you go your Herald stick chair play, like there's another cool OTK combo where you like when you do your Herald of Perfection play, and then you have stick chair, and then, you know, you go like bam, make Deltaros, and then pop card, draw card, and then play your instant fusion, bring it back, and then make this guy. You actually have exactly game. And if your opponent can, you know, if your opponent can stop you from getting his Mirror Force, then, you know, you don't have game. But basically, it's cool. And all you have to do for that, it's really simple too. For that OTK, all you have to do is just basically all you need is the Herald stick chair combo, and then you make the Herald, you know, put him in attack mode, make your Deltaros, pop, draw, Insuffusion, bring him out, bam, just like that. So that was my main reason for putting him in, because a lot of my games last a little bit too long, because there'll be that one turn where I have the opportunity to get maximum damage. Like, there'll actually be turns, like there'll be games where I have a whole turn to myself, where it's basically like it's just me playing and not my opponent. Like, he has no resources, he has no cards, and he's wide open. Like, I can kill him, and then I get pissed off because after all the resources that I committed on that turn, I still was not able to push for enough damage. So that's why I put him in, and he's free. But thank you guys so much for watching. God bless y'all. Be safe. Thank you for being patient with me. And if you guys are mad and upset for me taking so long with the deck, I'm sorry. And there's one more thing that I almost forgot. Man, the side deck. 3 raw spear mode, 3 kaijus, because they're just too good. 2 slumbers, it's a sack. 2 of that dank hole, 1 of Raijiji, 2 twin titties, and these actually should be artifact Lancias. Reason being is Lancia is much more versatile of a card, like my theory, whereas it's a fairy in your hand to negate, and it's also searchable through Binten, and this can get popped on the field. It can get targeted and destroyed. Even the Necro Valley, I was thinking about running Necro Valley, but then bottom line came down to even though it's a spell and it's searchable, it can be popped on field, whereas the artifact in hand, it's a potential Herald negate, or I can just activate it from hand. And it's much harder to negate hand traps than it is to just pop a field spell or, pop a face up. So yeah, these actually should be Lancias. I know this is like a floodgate forever, potentially, and Lancia is only 1 turn, but Lancia is actually just recyclable through the Daigusto Emerald. All you do is just put it back to your deck with Daigusto Emerald, and then search artifact Lancia again, and you just never ending Lancia. No snow, no inferno, it's GG, no re. But yeah, God bless y'all. Be safe, and we'll be hearing from you soon. Tell me what you guys think of the deck. Give your honest opinion and feedback. And yeah, I'm sorry for taking up so much of your time, but these are my babies. This is my actually